Well, hello, I'm WBZ Next Weather meteorologist Terry Eliasen, and we all love our weather history here. It's no doubt about it. You hear it in the grocery store or at the dining room table, people talking about the Blizzard 78, the April Fool's storm. Well, we got a pretty big storm coming up here, our first in several years. The question remains, could this storm find its way into our history book and onto our top 10 list? Let's start by revisiting the current season. Boston at 10.9 inches of snow as of now. Of course, that's going to change in a big way soon. We're 9 inches below the average so far this year, and about where we were last year to date, actually. Worcester has done a little bit better than Boston, about just over 2 feet of snow so far this season, and just below the averages. So far it's been a colder than average, but not quite snowy than average winter. Now, looking at Boston snow stats, it's been a long time, nearly 4 years, since we saw 6 inches of snow or more in a snowstorm. That, in fact, is second longest on record. Quite a streak. And it's been just about as long since we saw a foot in Boston, nearly 1,457 days. That's a long time. And really, if you look at just the last few years, our biggest storms in Boston over the last 3 or 4 years have been 3.5, 3.8, 5.5 inches, nearly nothing by New England standards. So, long story short, we're due. Here you go, recent years, last 10, and you can see that huge winter of 2014-15. Everybody remembers that one, for better or worse. But besides that, we've only had 2 winters with above average snowfall in the last 10 years. So it's been a very paltry stretch here. In fact, it's been the least snowy 10-year stretch in the history of Boston record keeping. That's over 150 years of records, and this current 10-year stretch is then the least snowy. Are we about to change that up? Perhaps. Looking back at the snowiest 10-year stretch, it came just before the least snowy, oddly enough. So when we talk about the good old days here in Boston with all the snow, it wasn't that long ago, really. Look at the 10 years from, say, 2008 to 2018, and we had a ton of snow, including the 14-15 year, the 2010-11 year with 81 inches, just a whole bunch of snow in that 10-year stretch, and a couple of which fell on our top 10 list. Here's the top 7, in fact, biggest Boston snowstorms on record. We all know the number 2 on the list, 27.1 inches. That was Blizzard 78. Of course, most of us know April 1997, the April Fool's Day storm, number 4. Do you happen to remember, though, the number 1 storm? February of 2003. That was the President's Day storm and our biggest snowstorm on record. Interesting to note that not too many folks remember that one. And the reasons why: there wasn't much coastal flooding, there wasn't a whole lot of wind. It was a very light, fluffy snowfall. And I think there could be some sort of parallels to the storm that's coming up here this weekend, sort of the same idea, light and fluffy, probably not much power outages or high impact stuff, just a lot of snow. So could we reach the top 10 this year? Well, here's our current forecast, 12 to 20 inches of snow. That, if we do get 20, that would fall just outside, of course, those top 10 lists. But I wouldn't rule out a couple areas or a couple jackpot zones here, one of which could occur in the city of Boston. A lot of times in these events, you get ocean effect bands, snow bands that occur anywhere from the North Shore through Boston or the northern South Shore. And those ocean-enhanced zones can sometimes drop 3, 4, 5, 6 inches in a very localized area. That's actually, in fact, what happened in 2003. I also wouldn't be shocked to see higher than normal, higher than forecast amounts out where it's going to be so darn cold in the northern Worcester Hills, southwestern New Hampshire. Temperatures are so cold out there, I wouldn't be surprised if the fluff factor really took over. So, could we reach the history books with this storm? It's possible. I certainly wouldn't predict it. We'll be here watching it all along the way, and we'll keep you updated on the run at history. And, of course, the complete forecast all weekend long. We'll be here with you watching. Stay safe.